the one thing I did want to stress to you guys is wait 24 hours before you eat it. You're going to taste test it that first initial time and go, oh my God, it tastes like chocolate mixed with poison. And then you're going to wait a few more minutes in and you're going to go, okay, chocolate and spiciness. And then you're going to let it sit. You're going to let it simmer for about 45 minutes and you're going to go, wow. You know, you have to wait for that whiskey, especially if you're using cheap whiskey, you have to wait for it to evaporate and for it to leave its smoky flavor behind. And if you wait 24 hours and then you pop it open, it will taste like barbecue pulled pork. It's the most awesome thing. And we've had it on cornbread and rolls and hot bread and just by the spoonful and in omelets with chives. It is fantastic. My husband likes it, my kids like it, but I've also had friends not like it. And I've only made it a few times. So, you know, it's apparently an acquired taste. But it's going to taste one way on day one, but on day two, you're going to get that full-on balls to the wall barbecue flavor, and it is just awesome. It's those chipotles in adobo at work. So here you go, new recipe for canning. Hello. Today I am going to make for y'all something that a friend of mine gave me this recipe, and it just delighted my husband to death. So today we're making bacon jam. So what I have here is 3 pounds of bacon cut into chunks. And we're just going to kind of let that reduce a little bit. Oh, there you go. It seized up and got smaller quite quickly. And then I'm going to add 4 onions. You can use yellow or white. It's your preference. And then you're going to cook that down until the bacon is cooked and the onions have reduced down and they're on the way to being caramelized. And as you can imagine, this already smells good. Okay, I will be back with y'all when this is ready for the next step. Okay, as you can see, it's cooking down nicely and the fat is rendering, and it's been maybe about 5 minutes. So I am just going to keep this going, screaming high heat, and I'm going to add 6 cloves of chopped garlic. It doesn't matter if you mince it or chop it, because in the end we are going to end up putting this in the food processor. So continue to let that cook down. And what I am going to do is I'm going to see how far down I can cook this down, and then I am going to end up removing all of the fat and only reserve a tablespoon of it. Okay, we're at the 10-minute mark, and you can see that there is a lot of there's a lot of bacon grease in there. And I'm just going to you basically cook it down to however caramelized you want it to be. Well, that's how I'm handling it. And like I said before, I am going to end up draining it and leaving maybe at best a tablespoon of fat. And I'm only leaving that tablespoon of fat, excuse me, just for the sake of flavor. You don't have to do that if you don't wish, but I think that tablespoon of fat is going to lend a lot to the other ingredients, which we will add here shortly. So I'm just going to let this cook down maybe another 5 minutes. And then the plan is to drain off the grease, put all this stuff back into this heavy bottom pot, and then kind of crisp it up a little. So we'll be back after 5 minutes and after the draining of the bacon and onions. And the reason I do it this way is because I like for the onion flavor to leach out into the bacon, as opposed to doing the bacon and then doing the onions and then marrying them together. Now this way they kind of meld, because everybody knows bacon and onion is the perfect marriage. Okay, now we are going to take half a cup. Oh, you know what? Let me get the recipe. This is actually 1 cup of apple cider vinegar, and we are going to use that to deglaze the pan. Get all the fond up off the bottom of the pan. Just give it a nice good scraping. All those brown bits at the bottom are flavor. There we go, and I can feel that the bottom is smooth. Okay, so now we are going to add oh my goodness. We are going to add 1 cup of firmly packed brown sugar. You know what, I'm going to grab a whisk just for the sake of breaking up that brown sugar. Okay, and then to add half a cup of maple syrup. And that's pure maple syrup. And I am going to add a 1.5 cups of unsweetened brewed coffee. And then I am going to add 4 chipotles in their adobo. And then I am going to add half a cup of whiskey. You heard right, whiskey. All right. And then I am going to go ahead and add my bacon and onions back in. And you're going to let it cook down on low heat for an hour to an hour and a half until it gets down to a syrupy consistency. And let me just give that a quality control taste here. Yum. All right. So we'll see you in about an hour. Okay, and here we go. Here we are. After 1 hour. You can let it go for 2, but I'm going to can it. So I'm not going to let it go any further than this. And you can leave it like this. And it's pretty reduced down. You know, the bacon is all broken down, the onions are broken down. But I think I'm not sure I'm going to food process it or not. I think I might just can it like this. You can just put it in omelets, spread it on hot rolls, put a dollop on top of mashed potatoes, what you will find is when you're when you first put it on to simmer, you think, oh my god, this tastes really gross. It tasted to my husband just like super soupy spicy, and to me and my 18-year-old son it tasted like chocolate. And then we gave it about half an hour to 45 minutes. We put the spoon in there again to taste it, and it had 1000% changed dimension, and the flavors are just awesome. But I mean, there are so many possibilities for this, and it is so good and so savory and so yummy. I mean, oh my gosh. But I am going to can this. You can do half pints and pints, 75 minutes at your pressure for your area, or quarts for 90 minutes. So I'm thinking, got a couple of pints here. All right, eat at home, y'all. You'll thank yourself for it.